Of all of the things that me personally as a mediator over 25 years, having done over 11,000 cases, I would say if I were to create a top 5 list of things that cause the most anxiety, things that I spend the most time working with couples on, is the introduction of new significant others after the divorce to the children. And this specific category obviously creates a lot of anxiety. Most of the time when I speak with somebody or a couple that's going through a divorce and I'm helping them through this, there's just a pit in their stomach, and it's because it generates a lot of fear. The idea that there is another individual that is an adult that is going to be in a role that looks an awful lot like a mom or dad role threatens us, and it causes us to think that we are being dethroned, and it's simply not the case. The idea that we oftentimes think of the extreme cases, the things we see on TV about the psycho step parent that is beating the child. My experience has been in 25 years, it's the exact opposite of that. That the problems and the concerns and the hurt that is happening is a direct result of that new step parent or that new boyfriend or girlfriend being really, really cool and fun and amazing. There is a very strong likelihood that there's going to be 4 adults in your children's life, and all 4 of them will love that child. 2 of them will be mom and dad. The other 2 are just desperately trying to fit in. You have to remember that one of the criteria you will use when deciding if you're going to have a new significant other in your life will be whether or not they have a good chemistry with your children. And you will find that you will measure everything they say and do through that filter of how would my kids deal with this individual. I get asked a lot, when should we introduce this new significant other into our children's lives? And again, there may be a stack of books this high that says you should never introduce the children until you have decided to marry. And you'll have a stack of books this high that says there's no adverse condition by introducing the children to anybody that you choose to even casually date. And maybe it's somewhere in between. My experience has been this. As soon as you feel that this is an individual that could be a candidate for a long-term relationship, it's probably a good time to introduce them to your children. And the reason for that is if you wait too long and you become very connected and emotionally committed to that individual, and you have strong feelings for them, and then later you choose to introduce your children to them, and there's clearly a chemistry issue, or you observe things that had you observed earlier you would have not allowed the relationship to go forward. It's very, very hard to break off a relationship in those kinds of situations where feelings have gotten too deep. So be mindful of that. There is no specific timeline. There's not each case situation is a case-by-case basis. The important thing is to consider being transparent with your ex-spouse about this. If you will treat this event as more of a team effort in how you're going to deal with the children, it will save you a tremendous amount of anxiety and anxiety with your children. I inevitably am going to get people that will come into mediation and say, it's none of my ex-spouse's business who I date. Statutorily, in other words, according to the law, that is absolutely correct. As an ex-spouse, a judge is never going to require that you inform the other party who you're dating when or anything to do with it. You get your privacy when you divorce. But if we step up on the ladder a little bit and we not allow the court method of what is right and wrong to dictate to us, and we consider the value in letting your ex-spouse know, I am involved with somebody, it's a relationship that may go to the next level, and I want to see how our kids do. Now that couple can be a team, and they can work together to make sure that the child understands what's happening. Your children are brutally loyal to you. If you look at your own situation, I know that with my family, my brothers and sisters and I can sit around and talk about my parents and what lousy parents they were and say all the negative things we want, and nobody cares. But if somebody else says something, then we become very defensive. Your children are wired that way as well. Your children are also wired to love. That is their natural go-to. And they have a great capacity to love more people. And they want to love more people, generally speaking. More is better. There is one condition where you can be assured your child will compromise that natural tendency. And that is a stronger natural tendency to be loyal to their parents. If you ask your child or imply to your child that you want them to hate your ex-spouse's new boyfriend or girlfriend or new significant other, there's a strong likelihood that they will, because they will be loyal to you. And this would be a sad thing. If you believe what I say, that there are 4 adults in your children's life that are going to love them, give them permission to love these individuals. Now, there are unique situations where sometimes these individuals had a direct, they were a direct result of the deterioration of your marriage. And that's a very hard concept to wrap your head around, that you're now supposed to look at this person that perhaps contributed to your relationship and your marriage failing, now being somebody that you're actually supposed to embrace and encourage your child to embrace. Know that that is something that is much easier said than done. However, also know that you would do anything for your child and your children. And this person, more than likely, is an amazing individual. And in spite of their poor judgment and their poor decision, if it contributed to the deterioration of your marriage, there's a strong likelihood that they are kinder and better than you think. And unless they have some kind of felony convictions, it's best to give them the benefit of the doubt. And obviously that's going to take some time. However, if you will allow for that possibility, your children will be better off. Now, having said that, there are certain rites of passage that as parents we have that are sacred. And it changes and it's different for each person. I have learned that while there is no law that says who gets to decide the hair length of 8-year-old little girls, there probably should be a law. And most people would say that mothers are the ones that get to decide that. Now, I'm using a little bit of levity and humor to try to drive a point home, that if you happen to be a father and you have a new girlfriend or wife, and your girlfriend and wife decides that they want to go take your 8-year-old little girl to get 3 feet of her hair cut off, and there is no input from mom on that, there's likely going to be a near-death experience for somebody. Did that girlfriend break the law? Nope, they didn't. There's no law that says they can't get a little girl a haircut. Did they cross the stupid line? Absolutely. It's very, very important that you sit down with your new significant other and tell them thank you for trying so hard. Remember what they are trying to accomplish. They're desperately trying to fit in, and sometimes they try too hard. And it's very important that you ask them to please communicate with you before they make any decisions. If you are a father and your son comes running home the day before his 5th birthday with a video of mom's new boyfriend teaching him how to ride a bike, it will probably suck the life out of you, and you'll probably want to be very angry with that boyfriend. Those are the kinds of examples that when I get phone calls from angry parties regarding new significant others, it's because the new significant other is really trying so hard to just fit in. Find that balance. Be transparent. Talk about these issues. Make sure that you, as soon as you can, integrate your new significant other in with your ex-spouse. I know this feels and sounds very altruistic, like it's cupcakes and butterflies, and then how could it ever be expected? When we're talking about our children, nothing should be off the table for making an effort to help them cope with the decision that you and your spouse made to get a divorce. And if it means that you have to suck it up and do better at allowing the integration of a new significant other, and your child is better for that,